My parents gave my inheritance to my sister behind my back. I always knew my parents had a favorite, but I never realized they would actually go this far until last Tuesday. My sister Chloe has always been the one they protected while I was the one they expected things from. When I got into state school on a scholarship, they clapped and said good job, but when Chloe barely graduated high school, they threw her a $3,000 party and bought her a car because she worked so hard under stress. I never complained because I figured that was just their way of balancing things out since I was doing well on my own. Fast forward 10 years, and I have worked my way up to a senior manager position at a tech firm while Chloe is 32 and still living in our parents' basement. She has had about 12 different jobs in the last 5 years and usually quits because she says the manager was mean to her or the vibe was off. My parents have been paying her phone bill and insurance since forever, and they always tell me how lucky I am that I don't struggle like she does. About 3 years ago, my grandfather passed away and left a significant amount of money in a trust for me and Chloe. It was roughly $200,000 each, meant to be used for a down payment on a house or for starting a business. My parents were the executors of the estate because my grandfather trusted them to handle the logistics. I didn't need the money right away since I was saving up for a house in a specific neighborhood, so I told my parents to keep it in the high-yield account they set up. Last month, I finally found the perfect house. It was a 1940s Craftsman with a huge backyard, and it was exactly what I wanted. I put in an offer, and it was accepted, which was a miracle in this market. I called my dad to tell him the good news and asked him to start the process of transferring my inheritance so I could make the down payment by the end of the month. There was this long silence on the phone that lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. When my dad finally spoke, his voice sounded weirdly high and tight. He said we should all have dinner on Sunday to discuss it. I told him there was nothing to discuss and I just needed the wire transfer, but he insisted. I showed up to their house on Sunday and the atmosphere was like a funeral. My mom wouldn't look at me and Chloe was sitting on the couch scrolling on her phone like nothing was happening. We sat down at the table and my dad cleared his throat about 50 times. He finally told me that the money was gone. I laughed because I thought he was joking, or maybe that they had invested it and the market took a dip. But then he explained that they had given my entire share to Chloe over the last 2 years. Apparently Chloe had gotten into some credit card debt and then she wanted to start a candle business that failed, and then she needed a new car because she crashed the one they bought her. My mom chimed in saying that I already have a great career and a nice apartment while Chloe has nothing. She said they were just being fair by giving the person who needed it more the extra help. I asked them how they could possibly think stealing $200,000 from me to fund Chloe's mistakes was fair. My dad actually got angry and said it wasn't stealing because it was family money and they were just managing it the way my grandfather would have wanted. I stood up and told them that they had exactly 48 hours to put that money back or I was going to a lawyer. Chloe finally looked up from her phone and called me selfish. She said I was already rich and I was trying to make her homeless just because I wanted a bigger house. My parents both started crying and saying I was tearing the family apart over paper. I left without saying another word and drove straight to my apartment. I didn't wait 48 hours. I knew they didn't have the money because my dad is retired and my mom only works part-time at a library. I called a lawyer Monday morning and filed a suit against them for breach of fiduciary duty. My phone has been ringing non-stop for 3 days with calls from my aunts and cousins telling me how heartless I am for suing my own parents. My mom sent me a long text saying she never thought she raised a son who would value money over his own blood. Yesterday, the lawyer served them the papers. My dad called me screaming that he was going to have to sell their house to pay me back and that they would be on the street because of me. I told him that maybe he should ask Chloe for a place to stay since she has $200,000 worth of candles and bad decisions. I have officially blocked all of them and I am moving forward with the lawsuit because family or not, you don't get to erase my future to cover up your failures. I found out this morning that Chloe used the last of the cash to book a trip to Bali so she could find herself after all the family drama. My lawyer says the house sale is pretty much guaranteed now. Full story on the channel, link below.